today we're going to start a great epic story. So, and this is actually a great poem, because the original is written in a sort of verse that you could chant. And that's why it's been around since about 1,000 or 2,000 years BC. It's been around 3,000 or 4,000 years. But it wasn't changed because it's in the form of like a verse or a chant. So it always had to, if you changed it, then it wouldn't rhyme anymore. So, and the great writer was someone called Veda Vyas. And he had this great story inside of him, and he wanted to share it with the world. And so he writes the story, and you need someone to write it down for him. So he has the great Indian god Ganesh writes the beautiful story for him. So this is one of the 3 great epic stories in the sort of Indian. There's a Ramayana which came first. So that's with Ram and Sita, and it's such a, and everything happens in these stories, make you laugh and cry, take you to a really beautiful spiritual place. And then there's a Mahabharata, which we're going to start today, and then there's Srimad Bhagavatam. And so the Mahabharata is about a family, a great royal family. And within it is a great Indian, like Bible really, which is the Gita, which is great spiritual teachings from Krishna, who's one of the characters in to Arjuna. And you can read that, a lot of people read the Gita as a separate, and you can chant the Gita as well, it's all in verse as well. But today we want to just look at why did the Gita happen? Why is it? It starts on the battlefield actually between Arjuna and Krishna. They're both really close friends. And it starts off in the middle of the battlefield. So today we're going to look at who are the characters in the Gita. When you start chapter 1 of the Gita, which we'll look at, you've got the different characters, Dhritarashtra and Dronacharya, and there's Bhishma, all the great characters, and all of them have an amazing story. So it is an amazing story that I'm going to share with you. The only limiting factor is me, because the story is great. Veda Vyasa originally told the story, and he was an unlimited enlightened being, so it's a really hard act to follow. And it's written by Ganesh. He's the great wisest of beings. So perhaps a little bit of the magic maybe can come through. But it's a journey, as we go through the story, it's actually a journey for our own consciousness as well. So I'm going to take you a little bit at the beginning of it, talk a little bit about why the Gita, why did Krishna speak the Gita to Arjuna, and why were they there? And more importantly, why did Arjuna really listen? Because he needed to hear. He was in that predicament. You know, so often we wait till something really serious happens before we listen to wisdom. So anyway, where's the story going to start? Well, it starts off in heaven. So there's like 3 or 4 heavens. But anyway, so we've got the place where we live, which they call a loka in Sanskrit, which is like a place. So we've got this loka where we all live in, which is quite nice, but it's sort of a middle one really. There's one below, which is sort of worse. So if you're really bad here, then you go there. You know, in Christianity they call it go to hell, isn't it? So it's this lower place sort of thing, you know. And then you got the world we live in, and then you got a heaven above it sort of thing. And then there's an even better one above that, so there's 4 sort of main levels. So where we live is quite an interesting one, because there's a level below and there's a level above, and here's like a mixture of the 2. You know, the earth can be like heaven, like here, in this beautiful Drew Centre in Arnhem. It's like a sort of heaven. People come here from all over the Netherlands, and it's like, they come here and they go, it's like being in heaven, sort of thing. Or you can go somewhere else, you know, pub or bar, and something really nasty happens, and it can be like same place, just a few hundred meters away. That's it. So on earth we can experience both. But we're going to start off in heaven, where everyone's supposed to be really good. But what happens is, sometimes they're not totally good. And then the punishment, like our punishment, if we're bad here, then the punishment is you go down to that hot place. But if you're bad in heaven, then you get sent down to earth. That's the punishment. So if you do so, no, please don't send me down there to earth. And they go, no, you must go. And they say, well, if you do, at least send me to the Drew Centre. There's all nice people, we have lovely food, and we do yoga and go on trips. So amazing. If you do send me there. They go, well, they haven't, then, this was they hadn't invented it then. They go, well, I don't mind waiting till it's all happened, so I just wait here. So anyway, we start off in heaven. And in this particular bit of heaven, the king, there's all that, in Indian mythology, there's hundreds of gods and everything. But the main top god is Indra. And he's a bit like, he has lightning like sort of Thor in the sort of Western. So that's sort of the most powerful. He's the top god. Anyway, they're all there. And then they have like, everyone's at his court. He has like a palace in heaven. And they're having a big banquet. So all the gods and goddesses are there. And he's supposed to be on best behaviour. So it's just a normal day really. But something, for this to happen, there's normally something goes wrong. And then there's always a curse that creates. Because someone has to be sent to earth. And to be sent to earth, there has to be a curse. So anything he says normal, they're just having lovely food and everything, beautiful macrobiotic meal, what's all organic, beautiful food they're having. Because the food is great in heaven. But the only good thing about being sent to earth is you can really enjoy food more. Because in heaven you eat it, it's sort of like a hobby, you don't really need to eat. But on earth you really need to eat. And somehow the whole sense, if you're going to go to earth, then really enjoy food. That's, you've got to really enjoy it. It's one of the... Just really savour your food sort of thing. So anyway, we're there and everything is as normal. And Ganga's there, and Ganga is a very beautiful goddess. And everything's perfect. So she's there, but then, now as it happens, all the goddesses wear the sari, like Indian ladies do today, and the sari covers the left shoulder. I think I'm right in saying that. Now for some reason, don't quite know why, the right shoulder is clearly visible. And, in my mind, the right and left shoulder is not that much different. But in the whole thing there's something very special, like almost erotic about the left shoulder. And it's something you shouldn't look at the left shoulder. Right shoulders, that's okay. Left, no, don't look at. And if you do, it's really bad. Anyway, so what happens? Ganga's there, and the beautiful south wind comes. In Greek mythology, it's Zephyrus, isn't it? Or Roman mythology, Zephyrus, the south wind, warm breeze comes. And there's the god of love as well. He's always involved in this. He's probably there behind it all. God of love loves to create mischief. Because everything goes very peacefully until the god of love comes. And he creates this jealousy and something's going to happen. So the god of love's probably there in the background. So he gets his friend. He's got different friends. Springtime. So whenever God of love wants to create a situation, he always gets his friend Spring. And it's beautiful flowers and warmth. And the sun's there and the birds are singing. And that's his. It's not like a Welsh winter, storm and rain. It's hard to be romantic when you get two people sitting together, all their clothing but no, it has it all set up, springs there, the flowers, birds singing, nice fragrances, everything like that. And then Zephyrus always just blows, the warm wind just blows. And in this case, blows quite hard and blows the sari off the left shoulder, which is something, it's sort of like, I don't know what's... In Britain, don't the same in Netherlands, about 100 years ago, maybe a bit more, there's something special about ankles as well. If someone saw an ankle, it's like, oh, it's like really, people lose their composure. So here it's a left shoulder. So what's supposed to happen is this terrible accident has happened. The left shoulder has been revealed. What's supposed to happen is, you should cover it as soon as possible. All the men are sort of, don't look away. Not looking like with eyes, sort of like that, the hand. They're supposed to look away. But that isn't what happens. It's very, very shocking. Are you all okay? You're all adults, isn't it? Good job the children, they've gone this part. They're too young. You're right, Samuel. So the left shoulder has been exposed. But then something quite shocking happens. And I'm just going to tell you people, I'll have to edit this for the camera, for the general public can't hear this. So what's supposed to happen is everyone's supposed to look away. But the Santanu there is a beautiful young man, and he so loves Ganga, she's so beautiful, and he's really in love with her. So his shoulder's exposed, and he doesn't look away. Oh. He's supposed to look away. It's his big mistake. Well, it's not really, because that one thing has created this whole story. That's just one part of it. The whole story is like books and books and books. It all goes through 7 generations. Goes through. So he doesn't look away. He's like looking like this. His eyes are like that. And then if that wasn't bad enough, I mean that's really bad, because you hear it's like being at the king's. Like if you go to the king and queen of Holland, is it Netherlands? If you go there, you have to be very, very polite, sort of thing, Same thing here when we have Lord Indra. You're in your best behaviour. You don't say anything, careful what you say, and very polite, and everything, But the worse than that, what could be worse than not looking away at the left shoulder? I mean, so even now it just shocks us so much. Lucky they didn't have Photoshop then. There'd been a whole industry doing the mirror image. Someone would have their right shoulder showing, and that's all okay. They'll be using Photoshop to mirror image it and create this left shoulder. Oh, it could be a whole industry. So, but what was worse was Ganga was enjoying. She was enjoying. We thought this is all going to be holy things, wasn't it? We thought it's going to be so holy, we're going to learn about the Gita and all that. But when you get into what the gods do, it's really down there. Sort of things they're doing, tricks they play on each other and everything. It's worse than here, actually. It is. It all needs sorting out up there. So anyway, she's enjoying the attention. Indra sees it all, and he's outraged. He's totally outraged, and he's so angry. So then everyone's waiting. They can see Indra's so angry, and everyone's waiting with bated breath. Because when the king's angry, it's like if you have